Hello from Prague. Webinar. Hopefully you will enjoy this webinar. This time I am alone. Typically I'm always inviting some guest to help me with some topic. But I decided that today I will share something what I am passionate about or I'm excited these days about. So hopefully all will work well. Please let me know in the chat. I saw that someone already greetings me from the Netherlands, but please let me know in the chat if everything is set up properly. I have a few slides and then I hope some cool demos. And if the chat will work, I will try to follow that and react on your questions there and maybe go deeper in some topics. So let me start with very short talk and then let's go to the demos. So what I would like to share today with you, let me share the screen first. This is real streaming, so nothing is pre-recorded, nothing is prepared. I will try to do it live. So entire screen and let me see this one. This one is the right. Share. And now it's still not good. I need to swap. How do I swap these slides? Not happy with that. Oh, here. Swap this place. So my talk today is about MCP revolution or about the maybe new era of AI testing. Let's see. That was my idea when I saw all these MCP waves and moves and ideas. So let me maybe share some ideas, my ideas about that or reaction on that. Before that, you probably know me, but my name is Marcel Veselka. I'm a founder of Wopee.io, and we are working on AI testing agents for web apps. So many of my talks and topics are around this, because what I'm doing is I'm trying to share the ideas and experience from building these tools. So it'll be similar today. So let me first just quickly maybe pull out the idea about the AI agents. And I was talking about this a lot, maybe last 2 years or 1.5 years. And if you remember, I deliver some talks and workshops about, I call it simple AI testing agent. And in the past, I was trying to explain how the AI agents works by providing explanation about the system prompt and user prompt and some code snippets. And this looks to be a bit obsolete, but still the principles are there. So if you are interested about that topic, I don't want to spend too much time on that. Go to our YouTube channel, and there is one video about AI testing agents. And hopefully, if you watch this one, you will like it. So please like and follow, like this video and follow us on YouTube, so we can then share more ideas with you. So why I am now talking again about the AI agents, and the reason is super simple. You probably noticed that this coding or coded approach is not needed anymore, especially because VS Code introduced something what they call agents in the Copilot. So how it works, all the tools you built in the past as a code, you can bring into the agent, as well as the system prompt and also the user prompt. So everything what was built as an agent and followed some coded approach, now it could be brought into VS Code as a prompt. And in order to make this work or happen, one thing which is important is that you are also having some capabilities of integrating these tools easily. And in the coded approach, it's super simple because you just use the TypeScript or Python and you write your tools in a way that it works to and it follows the framework. In my case, in my demo, it was Versal AI SDK. There are plenty of others. As I said in the video, you can find more. But what I would like to talk now about is how we can bring these tools into coding assistants like VS Code and GitHub Copilot or Cursor or Windsurf or Claude Code. And that's all possible due to or via MCP tools. And maybe you noticed also that there is not only this functionality, but you can also easily deploy the agents using one single command, which will bring into your VS Code 3 AI agents to help you with your playwright testing. I don't want to demo it here. I think there is a plenty of other videos and a lot of excited people about that agents, but you can use these agents together with the MCP playwright MCP tools to prepare some tests, generate the code, and then fix this if that doesn't work. So this is all there, and if you want to make it work, the way how to do that, you need to provide and connect some MCP server to your MCP client. In our case, in this example, the MCP client is VS Code with Copilot, and the server in this case for these three agents I mentioned is the Playwright MCP server, and that drives the browser. I'll have a live demo soon, so let me move on a bit. But before that, I will quickly check if all goes well. So it looks like we have the stream live. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or anything you want to share your experience, or maybe you just have some other opinions about this, and I will then go through that later. So let me move on back to my slides and let's continue. So what are these MCPs, or what's the MCP? So in short, the MCP stands for Model Context Protocol, and sorry for those who already know a lot about that, but I wanted to give away some very simple introduction in this topic. And these MCPs, you can consider that or think about that like API between LLM and tools, or agent and tools. So it's some standard way how you can provide your tools to almost any agent. And that's why there are basically two groups of teams or organization. One is one who builds the clients. These are the ChatGPT or VS Code or Windsurf or you name it. And then there are MCP server builders. And this could be Jira or Google Drive or I don't know, GitHub, and all these other tools which could be controlled via these connectors. Actually, these MCPs are the OpenAI gave to the MCP's name connectors, so maybe it might be easier or more human language to say connectors. But that's not only about the tools, there are some more details I would like to share with you. So as I said, there is AI agent, where the MCP client sits, and it uses three basic primitives. It's tools, I mentioned it several times, but there is not only tools, there are also resources and prompts. And these three, as they call it, primitives, are provided from the server. So server expose these three primitives. I believe and hope the tool is clear what it does in terms of MCP for the playwright. It could be click, fill, open browser, close browser, and all these things. In terms of, I don't know, Jira, it could be update some issue or create new issue and so on. In terms of GitHub, it could be create pull request or commit some code and so on. And as I said, all is built on these three. And if I would go into the resources and prompts, the resources are basically remote files. It's very like huge simplification. If you are interested, read the MCP spec. There is much more details and explanation how it works. And then there is another primitive on the list, and it's prompts. And the prompts itself are provided from the server to the client, so you do not need to write always the same prompt again. And sometimes these are also provided as templates. So if you want to run something always the same way, but the input might be different, like update, or I will use it for my test plan creation. So if it's always the same, you just need to have the ID of, I don't know, requirement. Then you can have a prompt which follows the process and drives the agent always the same way. And you can provide as a parameter of the template the Jira ID. So this is the MCP. And if I would try to simplify it, I was talking about the MCP server, MCP client, and all these details. But some people, and I find this image somewhere on the internet, compare these MCPs to USB. So it's basically the way how you could connect your existing tools, your remote services or remote tools, into your local client, which runs your within your agent. As I said, it could be ChatGPT, Cursor, or any other. Uh, I just keep adding more and more examples, but basically I believe it's clear. So I will skip this slide and let me move on to the next part of that. So how we could use this idea of agents and MCPs for testing, how we could boost that and make the testing easier, or as I sometimes say, human-less and more automated. And I don't know how many of you following us, but in Wopee, we are building a tool for web automation or web test automation, which is able to generate from prompt the test result or test report. So you start with a simple prompt, then you generate the test, and then you can automatically run it without touching any code, without writing too much stuff. So at the beginning, it might be some user story, or it could be bug report or anything like that. So I took this and generate around 20, maybe 30 tests. And this is just preparation for the demo. I just setting up the scene before I will move to the demo. So once I did this, let's start with the demo. And what I would like to do is that I'm using the agents, MCP, and all these things together. And I would like to show you how simple it could be to create something like AI test analyst or test analyst agent. So my goal is to fetch bug from Jira, fetch test from Wopee, these 20 to 30 tests, all of them I will fetch to my project, to my workspace. And then I will select just top 3 tests which are relevant to that bug. And then I will just prepare some test plan, which is basically explanation or some kind of report saying this is important to test and why to do that. So I'm using Cursor, as I said, but you could use VS Code or any other like Windsurf, or I don't know whether there are, even JetBrains could do something similar, I believe. I'm not expert on that, and I used the IntelliJ a few years ago, so I don't know how heavily they advance the IDE, but there are plenty of IDEs already supporting this. So I'm using Cursor as an MCP client, and then I'm connecting to remote MCP servers, or basically the Wopee is local MCP server, but I don't want to now complicate it with the details. So I'm connecting two MCP servers. Once I have this setup already done, I just quickly checking the tests. So in my case, and this is pre-recorded, I could do the live demo if there are some questions at the end again, but I pre-recorded to make sure that it won't broke as we go. So I have three categories. I prepare some tests for filtering, some tests for generic, like any functionality which could be there, and then I prepare something for the shopping cart handling. This is prepared, as I said, around 30 tests are there. So what I will do now, this is on the left side, I have my cursor prepared in layout without too many details. So I basically hide all the files and sidebars and everything. And what I will do, I will run now a simple prompt to make sure that on the right side, I will take the bug fix, the bug report. The user cannot add two items into shopping cart. And I will fetch that into the cursor. Then I will fetch the data from Wopee, and I will prepare some suggestion what should be taken as which test should be taken and executed. So let me now start the recording. The pre-recorded video. So what I will be doing now, I'm referring to my prompt, which is basically nothing else than just instruction what need to be done. And the name of the prompt is test analyst, and I asked to analyze Ken-3, which is the ID of the ticket on the right side. So what is happening now? It reads some files and trying to analyze how it should proceed. It reads some details about the MCP and preparing for the execution of that prompt or of that instructions. Now it probably already fetched the Jira details, and I can see there can3 and some other details. User cannot add two items, so it's displayed there. And now it's trying to get some more details, but also it starting to fetch some analyses. These are the basically three analyses in the commander in the Wopee.io commander, and from there it already moved the ticket into in progress. The agent did that, and you probably notice I refreshed the browser on the right side to see that it was moved. And I continue with the rest. And what is happening next is it's just analyzing all the tests which were found there. And it selected top three, which should be executed with some explanation why and how what's inside and how it works and so on. And the next step, what it will do now, it will basically it's asking me to run another tool, and I'm saying yes, run it. I don't know what's the tool about, but let's run the tool. And at the end it should update the ticket with these suggestions. So basically it could replace, if I could say that in that way, my test analyst to prepare some test in advance. Of course, I'm still monitoring, I'm watching how it works, but if this is something which would work in future, so we can easily automate the entire test analysis process, or basically this is not test analysis, this is test planning. I'm just selecting the top three tests. And if I open now the Jira ticket, which was updated to the in progress status, I can see that this is what I've got. The test plan for Ken-3 user cannot add two items. So I can see what is the issue about, what how the analysis was performed, and what are the recommended tests to execute. And you can see that I have all the details there, which suggests to run these three tests. I don't want to go to the details. It could be improved. It could be better because I didn't provide any like classification criteria. I didn't even provide any kind of ideas how the report should look like. But this could be fully customized. If I move on, then I could build the same but proceed further. And again, I'm using Cursor, but now I'll be using Jira, Wopee, and Playwright MCP. And these first steps or these first goals on my list was already done. So now I would like to go to the execute test with Playwright MCP and then prepare test report. So these are the two extra steps in the process. And now I run it again, but in this case, I will run can-4, so the fourth item in my on my dashboard, and I will not finish in progress status, but I will go further to the done. But I would like to show you some more stuff. I will skip this a bit. Yeah. So this is I'll go here. So what is happening here? I'm getting the same or very similar results with suggestions what should be executed. And once this is done, I am taking these three tests and letting the MCP, Playwright MCP, to execute them. So now you can see that the agent logged in and now executing the tests. We cannot see the details, or you can see that, but the point here is that there is this pop-up still displayed and MCP could run it anyhow. But I don't want to wait for that. So soon the recording will switch back to the agent so we can see what is happening there. So basically now I'm running the test. It is not automated test as we know it. We typically say that this is agentic test because it's always unique. It's driven by LLM, so we don't have it under the control. But you can see that I was able to run the playwright, get some results. And apart from that test plan I was talking about before, I am now getting for this ID also some test results. We will see that very soon. Now it looks like everything is done and ready to be finished soon. And we can see that we were running 3 tests, and you can also, yeah. So this looks like we are done. Now I will refresh the Jira board and I can see that can-4 was executed. And I can see the test execution report, but also if you scroll down below this comment, I have another one with the test plan. So there is a test plan which was followed, and then the test results on like about that. So now I can easily build everything and automate even the test analysis. The test cases were generated in Wopee.io fully automatically, just based on a few prompts and URL. I didn't show too much details there, but if you are interested, there are some other videos talking about this, or you can try it yourself using Wopee.io. And then I use these tests to basically execute them, or pre-select the top 3 and then execute them. That's it. If you would be interested to set it up for yourself, let me know. I will have a QR code at the end of the talk, so you can then scan it and contact me via LinkedIn, and I can give you some more tips and ideas how to do that. But let me now proceed further. So I would like to quickly talk about the future. So I hope this is interesting and exciting. At least it is for me. And I believe this is the future, what will happen next, I would like to talk about now. So what we could see that from the traditional world, we are slowly, but I wouldn't say slowly, maybe it's not so slow, but it was slow in the past, now it's speeding up. We are moving to the AI opportunities or AI powered testing. So from this kind of manual and exploratory testing, we were spending a lot of efforts to automate the stuff and then bring it into some integration or CI/CD pipelines. And now what we are doing as a next step is that we are adding another layer, which is AI augmented testing with a lot of AI inside. And what you could see, and it would be, it was already seen there, that we can run the tests in kind of autonomous or agentic way. So using these agents on the client side, giving us the simplicity and huge flexibility to integrate multiple backend systems together. I could bring and pull out the data from Notion or Confluence or SharePoint and mix them up with that agent, and based on that prepare the tests and then automatically execute them without writing any code. Okay, we need to write some text to build the structure, but if I know what I want to do, or if the process is clear or standardized, I can have some process for bug fix testing. I can have another process for new feature testing. And if I have these, and I know that the inputs are standardized, if all the teams behave certain way, then I can prepare my agent to uh, conduct test analysis, design some tests for me, pre-select the most relevant, execute them, and give me some report. And all could be living in your existing tooling without too much of effort. Basically, this, if you know how to do that, it takes a few minutes, maybe hours. Then it might require a few days to fine tune your inputs and adjust a bit your existing process. But in general, I believe this is something what will happen now, that from manual testing, we are moving to more agents autonomously running our regression and progressive testing, which is a new functionality. I think I'm done. I hope it inspired you or make you excited about the topic as I am. If you are interested in more details, let me know. I could go deeper or add some other webinars, but I wanted to make it super short and focused mostly on that two demos to give you some inspiration and not spending too much time on it. That's super simple. So with that, I would like to thank you that you joined me today. I will now go to the questions and check whether there are some. And if there are some, I will respond. Please subscribe, like our channel, and let me know how did you like it and what you was missing or what you would like to learn more about next time. Thank you very much. Enjoy your evening, and let me see what we have in the chat. So I could see where the credentials code is stored or handled. For example, login scenarios. Okay, so whatever credentials you have, there are multiple options. By default, everything goes to the LLM. I know that a lot of people complain about it. So there are two options how to deal with it. One is you can bring your LLM locally and you can use it locally. Another one is that you replace all the credentials using environment variables. It is supported by Wopee and it's also supported in Playwright. So if you are using plain Playwright, you can do that via that. Just use system environment variables. It might require some extra layer of security to build around, but it's doable. And that's one of the typical approach how the people cope with that. Let me move on to the next one. How the elements are handled for iframe. In short, easily. There is nothing special about iframes. I know that this was the topic for the Selenium in the past, and maybe even for the Cypress, but with Playwright, this was solved. I know that they had also some initial issues with that, but these days iframes are I would say, without any issue. So that's it. I think we are done for today. If there is no more questions, thank you very much and see you next time. Bye. I don't know whether you can see me. If not, stop sharing. Yeah. Probably now I will appear on the screen. Or maybe not. Yeah. Thank you and bye.